Alright, so there's a lot of bad stuff going on in the world right now. I mean, let's just be honest about it. And it's gotten to the point to where 4 different times in the last 2 weeks, I've had people come up to me, people who are not preppers, okay? People who I'm pretty sure in the past have laughed at me behind my back because I'm a quote-unquote paranoid prepper. And they've come to me and asked me questions like, hey, how do you put together a bug out bag? Or what kind of stuff should I keep at home or in my vehicle just in case bad things happen? And the reason they're coming to me and asking me these questions is because of things like North Korea, Islamic violence all over the world. They're looking at the fact that in this country alone, we've got the extreme left and the extreme right. We've got Antifa versus a bunch of racists willing to beat each other to death in the streets with sticks and shields and pepper spray each other. Okay, they're running over people and running people down and murdering them simply because they have a different opinion on politics. Okay, they see the riots and the looting, the violence, and they're upset. Rightfully so. They're concerned, as we all should be. Okay, so what I want to do with this video is just kind of put together a really basic starter kit for a good budget price. We're going to say $500 that will cover you in most scenarios you might find yourself in. And yes, that does include the firearm. Now, keep in mind, this is not an all-inclusive kit, okay? This doesn't cover everything. I've been prepping for a long time, and I know it can get very, very expensive, but this is a basic starter kit that will cover you in most scenarios, temporarily anyway. And you can build off of that later on or swap out different items as you want, whatever, but this is going to be a basic kit for $500 that should cover most scenarios you might find yourself in. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Now, first we're going to start with the guns themselves, all right? I'm going to put a cap of $300 on how much you should spend on a gun out of a $500 budget for your kit. Now, there's a lot of options out there on the table. Some things I'll tell you to stay away from. Bryco, Jennings, Cobra, Charter Arms I'm iffy on, Keltec I'm iffy on. Stay away from Sky pistols, that's SCCY if you don't know. Those are ones I, right off the bat, won't recommend. Yes, you can have them really cheap, but they are not reliable guns, okay? Some guns that I will recommend, surprisingly, High Point. Yes, they are ugly, but they are cheap and they work. I've owned 2 of them, had no problems with either one, period. It's a great option for a budget handgun if you're really looking for one. Taurus is another good option. They got several models that you can choose from. This is a PT92. I've had this one for about 10 years. I think now they run for about 300 bucks, maybe 250 on the used market, give or take. They've also got their G2 PT111, which is just a little 9mm handgun. You can pick that one up for about 250 to 280. They've got Taurus PT709 Slim that you can pick up in the 2 to 220 range. Another good option is surplus guns. This is an old military surplus. This is a P83. It's a great shooter. It's single stack, not a lot of capacity, but it will definitely do the job if you need it to. Police trade-ins like this Glock 21. There's a lot of options that can be had for 300 bucks or less, so keep that in mind. We've got a used Taurus. This is an old 357 Magnum revolver. It's a Model 65. I picked this one up a few years ago for I think 250 bucks. So used market is a great place to go. Surplus market, trade-in market, even some new guns as well. There's a lot of options to get something cheap and reliable. Another good option, shotguns. You can get shotguns really, really cheap. Pretty much the best bang for your buck, figuratively and literally, that you can get. The good shotguns start at about 160, 170 bucks with things like the Stevens 320 that you can pick up at your local Walmart. Then you step up to a Maverick 88 for 180 to 200 bucks. You can get a Remington 870 Express for about 260 to 270. You can find a lot of used shotguns out there on the market as well for $300 or less. So there's a lot of options out there for that as well. So anyway, those are the options that I would throw on the table for a gun for your prep kit. Now let's get into all the other gear for the prep kit. And we're going to try to burn through this pretty quick. The guns are the thing that I wanted to spend the most time on. But let's talk about a canteen. Need a good canteen. This is a Stanley canteen, stainless steel. You can pick these up at Walmart pretty cheap. I think they're about 15 bucks. You can open it up like this to drink, or you can open it from here and you can actually use it to cook in. You can throw some soup in there. You can throw some ramen noodles and water, whatever you want to do. If for some reason you find yourself stuck out somewhere, a good canteen is a great way to go. Now let's talk about this stuff right here. This stuff's free, right? Because this is stuff you probably have around your house. That's just hygiene, all right? Toilet paper, soap, deodorant, little shampoo, toothpaste, toothbrush, you're good to go. You always need that stuff around, okay? You don't want to get sick just because you left the house. Have some basic supplies, and again, you probably got this stuff floating around your house, so you can put it in a bag for free, all right? Water filtration. This is a little Sawyer water filter. It's nothing special at all, but you can pick them up for about 19 bucks, again, at Walmart, and it will do the job that you need it to do. One of the most invaluable tools in the history of mankind, duct tape. always have a roll of duct tape around. Please, these things cost like $3. I recommend getting the real duct tape brand because it's the best stuff out there. But again, $3 to $4. Keep a roll of this stuff around. Now, we've got our little med/trauma kit. This will be probably one of the more expensive things out of the stuff that's not gun related, just because it can cost about $30 to $40, give or take, to put together a decent little trauma kit with some med kit supplies. So I've got a lot of stuff in here. I've got everything from tourniquets to band-aids, antibiotic ointment, Tylenol, wound pads, gloves. I got a suture kit in here, all kinds of stuff. So whether you have a headache or you have a gunshot wound, this will pretty much cover you. And like I said, you can put together something like this for about $30 to $40. Okay, it is a little expensive, but we're still going to stay in that $500 budget for everything. All right. Now let's talk about having some sort of way to light a fire, just in case. I like these little Zippos. You can now pick them up pretty cheap at Walmart. They're about $10 to $12. And a little thing of Zippo lighter fluid is going to cost you probably, I think, about $4 or $5. So pretty cheap, pretty affordable. That way you can light a fire if you need to. Decent little flashlight. This is just a cheap little $20 Bushnell. It's 140 lumens. Pretty much good enough for whatever you might need it for. Is it the best in the world? No. I've had this one for a couple years now. It's great. I love it. Highly recommended at $20. Little SOG knife. Again, just a little basic pocket knife. It's nothing special, but it's nice, it's sharp, it works, and they cost about $20, and you've got some sort of way to cut whatever you need to cut right there. And last, but certainly not least, well, not last, there's one more thing after this. Let's talk food. Just nice prep food. This is some Wise stuff. You can go Mountain House. There's, was it Liberty Outfitters or whatever they're called. There's also My Patriot Supply. You wait for these things to go on sale. A lot of times you look online, you see Wise Food is selling a 72-hour kit for $19.99. That's when I jump on them and I buy a bunch of them. Okay, so $20 for a 72-hour kit. Keep that in there as well. I'd recommend one 72-hour kit for each family member, but you know, it's whatever works best for you. And now, last but certainly not least, you need something to put all your stuff in. I recommend just a good cheap backpack. I like the one that has the Molly or the Pals on here so I can attach more stuff to it. This thing cost me $20 at Walmart. I know it's bright green, but you can get them in different colors. You can get them in black and gray and whatever else. It's got a lifetime warranty, seems to be pretty good. I've hauled this thing around for a little over a year now. I think a year and a half ago I upgraded my bag, and so far so good. Seems to do well. You don't have to spend a lot of money. It doesn't even have to be one like this. It can just be a bag you have laying around your house, but I do recommend some sort of backpack to put all your stuff in, just so that it's easier to carry whenever you do actually have to get out and haul your stuff around. So that's it. That is a basic starter kit for $500. Pretty much going to cover everything you might need. Yes, it doesn't cover everything for every situation, but for most scenarios you might run into in a bad situation, this should cover your ass. So there you go, guys. I know the video was a little long, but thanks for sticking it out with me. I appreciate it. You got any questions, comments, anything like that, leave it down below, and we will talk to you guys later.